Hello everyone, how's everyone doing tonight? Sorry, I just had to move my camera there. Someone literally, right when I was about to hit the live button, parked their engine right in front of my screen there. What servers are we flying on? We are on the US East server, Mark. It is the server we normally fly on every week. Welcome to what is usually our Thursday night general aviation group flight. As you can tell, we're doing something a little different tonight. The wonderful guys over at Fenix did release the Block 2 update, and I've been dying to get my hands on it. So instead of GA, which we might end up doing on Sunday, we'll be taking a look at this beautiful beast. There's been quite an impressive amount of changes to this thing, so much so that this thing honestly feels like a different aircraft with the very short testing that I've done so far. I did some circuits and haven't really done a full flight yet, so this should be interesting. We'll be taking a look at it, and if you guys want me to, I know it's really loud, we'll go into the cockpit here just for a moment while people taxi around. Sint Maarten here. We are, this airport's always very busy, so while we get started, if you guys are enjoying this content, please like, comment, and subscribe below. There's also some links in the description if you feel there to support the channel and everything it has to offer. So currently it's just Ron and I. What we'll do first is take a look at the exterior model and how much it's changed. One of the things, the first things you'll notice when you get in the cockpit here is the default views have changed significantly. Not sure I'm a fan of it yet, but we'll get through that here in a minute. If you guys have any questions while we're digging through some of the changes here, let me know and we can discuss. Or if you've actually gotten your hands on it so far and want to talk about what your opinions are, that'd be great too. We'll start on the exterior and then we'll go through the interior. Let me go ahead and unmute myself in Discord here so we can talk to Ron. And it looks like Sean has joined us. He hasn't flown with us for a couple of days, so let's see what he's got to say. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm going to be taking a look on the outside of the airplane and then the inside for a few minutes here, so not going to be too much of a rush. Sean, how are you? Oh my goodness, it is so loud with everybody zooming around here. Biggest change, obviously, we are using the IAE engines. These things are modeled exceptionally well. This is some of the most realistic paint job that I've seen on any of the airplanes we've had so far in the sim. I saw a picture earlier on Facebook. Someone posted outside of the window, and honestly, if I didn't know it was from the sim, he could have fooled me. It looked very real. So it's actually pretty impressive. I mean, just this image right here, you might actually, if with the right filter, be able to fool somebody if you took a screenshot of this. So
true.
Yeah, especially, you know, with that nice little bit of a blur right there. The only thing that might give it away is these hard edges. The sim doesn't do the best job with those hard edges, but it's pretty good otherwise. I mean, you can sit here and it's impressive. I know that these models are actually flat. They just add the right kind of shading to the texture to really make it feel like it's got some, you know, shape to it. So like if you get real close to this thing, you can tell that it's flat, but if you look at it from an angle, it actually looks like the rivets and everything are pulled in on the metal. It looks really good. And then if you zoom in really far too, I mean, look at that detail. That's pretty impressive. Like you can see the dirt and grime settling in around the rivets there.
It's amazing what they do.
Yeah, it's really impressive. One new thing that the IAE engine brought with it too is you can preheat your fan blades. So if you're flying somewhere up in Canada right now, you might be able to find some icy weather, and the fan blades will pick up ice as they're sitting here rotating on the ground. And that could actually end up causing engine failures and other nasty things. I was curious to see how much engine detail they have here.
What time are we setting the clock to?
I think I set it about 2.5 hours before sunset, so I got it at 3:33 at the moment. Which really, that's probably only about 2 hours. So, what time does it get dark? 3:30? Yeah, okay. I want to bump it back to 3 o'clock local time right now, just to give us a little extra time to talk about the different things. But yeah. The awesome thing about the Fenix 2 is there's an immediate upgrade in performance. I would put it on par with PMDG for me, and we'll explore that once we get into the cockpit and, you know, zoom around with the camera. What was that, Sean?
I said I flew it last night, and the performance was pretty good.
Yeah, I was really
surprised.
happy. I was really happy with it. But, you know, most of this, oh wow, look how dirty that is. That's just impressive. I wonder if these springs compress whenever the gear comes up. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, that's just an impressive amount. You don't get this much detail in too many of the airplanes we typically fly with.
Now, when I'm looking out my cockpit window, I just see a very generic jet.
Yeah. Yeah, if you had the Fenix A320, you would probably, especially if you had the same livery as me, it'd probably show up as a really nice airplane.
Yeah.
There's Ron right now in his citation. It looks like we got a couple other people joining us. Archetype, of course, Sean, you know, we've been talking to.
Any of you guys there?
Can't see any of us. It's weird. Don't think any major changes on the exterior model are prevalent. I mean, we could sit here and stare at the textures all night, I'm sure, but of course we want to get in this thing, get it started up, so I'm going to jump back in the cockpit here and start taking a look on the inside. Actually, you know what we can do? Let's take a look at the cabin first, since we got the doors open here. They did a really good job modeling some stuff in the cabin. This livery may not have it, but some of the liveries go so far as to have, like, the seat back pocket information specific to that airline. But just looking around, the modeling is fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Can I open the door and drone? Oh, I can. Beautiful. We'll go to the cockpit here in a second. I don't know how much of this interior is modeled, but I would expect it. I've never flown on JetBlue, so someone can correct me if I'm just, you know, ignorant. But I would have expected to see some JetBlue logos or something on the inside here. Of course, I don't think the bathrooms are modeled. Nope, just a hole. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. And, you know, what's going on, Seth? How are you? It's really cool that, you know, the performance is upgraded so much on this airplane with
Wonder if
all the
there's any
visuals.
food in those carts.
I don't know. It wouldn't let me. They got the zip ties on there, so I don't think they're going to let us get into them until we're in the air. Cockpit textures have definitely improved to a degree too. One thing that I was noticing, and we may notice this more when we get to sunset, is the textures right here look really good with the light shining down on them, or the light panel there. It's pretty neat. And I'm not sure if you could see the pilot and first officer before this easily with drone cam, but I think you could, but I'm not sure. Yeah, if you threw the right camera filter on there, like I said, it'd be tough to tell real from the sim. That was interesting. What was that? What's that?
Copper Ron sitting down there.
Yeah. Yeah, Seth, I'm very impressed so far with it. I haven't flown it more than a couple circuits. One thing I did change, which we'll talk about later, is the side stick dampening system. There's some options for turning that on. And I turned it on for this one because it was really, I don't want to say it was really overly sensitive, but it was very crisp on the controls before, and I think it's supposed to be a little bit laggier and more dampened for the real thing. Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of this new default cockpit view here, but that's easily.
Looks weird.
It's like it's too high. Like even if you like look at if you turn your head around, I mean, you'd be a pretty tall pilot sitting right here, which honestly it may be accurate because, I mean, unless this dude is just 7 foot tall, his head is well above the headrest, so
Yeah.
That
It's
might
like
be.
too high and too far back.
yeah. I mean, that might be accurate just looking at it from there, but I don't know. I've never sat in an A320 cockpit, so. But I feel like I should be just a touch lower, which could just be us being used to, you know, flying these with an incorrect view for so long. I did map a couple option or camera views here. That was camera 6, I think, and this is custom camera for instrument camera 5. If I remember that correctly. But we'll go ahead and get the battery on. And external power. And let this thing start booting up. We can get our nav logo on. And let's take a look at the EFB. The EFB saw a huge improvement in how fast it can navigate, and that is probably my favorite part about dealing with this thing, because I always hated how slow it was. Right now we've got the GPU and the conditioned air along with the chocks, cones, and forward stairs. We'll leave that as is. Go ahead and import our flight. Don't know why the off-block time is so far off. I just made that flight plan a little while ago, but 188 minutes, we'll deal with it. Not a big deal. We can change that if we really wanted to. Ground services, mass and balance. Go ahead and start loading our aircraft as we get started here. So we got planned 163. Of course, 0 boarded. Cargo 5379 and 14,000 pounds of fuel. So go ahead and load the airplane. Oh, that's interesting. It gives you a GSX option right here. I don't have GSX installed because it was always super buggy with the Fenix, and I just didn't have time to reinstall it and do any testing, so I didn't want things to go haywire while we were trying to do our first stream. So we're just going to deal with not using GSX tonight and go fast time on the load there. Let that start loading up, and let's get our nav to, or 8 years to nav with 1, 3, and 2. Crew supply oxygen on. Fuel pumps are all on. And let's do a test of the APU. That's good. Engine 1. Engine 2. And let's go ahead and get our APU turned on. Master switch 1, 2, 3, and hit start. No smoking the auto, and we'll leave the seatbelts off until we get everything fueled up. Emergency exit lights armed. We've already got our nav lights on, and that'll take care of the overhead panel until the APU gets up and running. So panel states, that's just your typical cold and dark, turn around, etc. And then sim settings. So airframe, this is all user preference. Satcom antenna, American versus none versus European. Okay. So that is the American Satcom. None, of course. And then European. Oh, it's kind of farther back. The European one looks a little nicer, actually. We'll leave that on American now since we are in an American airline here. And then brake fans, DCDU, what was that? Oh, that was the Hoppy integration. I have Hoppy logged into, but we're not on VATSIM right now. Don't want to be doing any VATSIM without trying this thing out first. Airline modifiable information. I am using the airline settings currently, so don't think there's anything that will mess with that. Cabin lights, cabin visibility. If you're having performance issues, cabin visibility, you can turn that off. That might help you out some. Controls. Here's the side stick dampening system that I was talking about. There's also a rudder dampening. I haven't messed with that too much. The rudder felt pretty good when I did my circuits, so I'm not sure if I'll turn that on or not. But I haven't tried the side stick dampening, and I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but there's actually boarding music going on, which is a nice new feature. Scrolling acceleration. So I think that just affects the knobs here. So if we turn that on, don't know if it's a shift button or mouse wheel. I'm not sure exactly what that changes. I do have the mini FCU on order, and hopefully have that. I think it's going to ship in the end of March for me. So once we get that going, we'll do the same cockpit view as, or the webcam view that I do with the 737, where I've got the custom MCP panel there and light box. Is the side stick dampening on the aircraft or a fix? It simulates the real world dampening of the joystick over here. So it's my understanding is this thing is pretty heavy and pretty slow to move around, and of course it's, you know, most users joysticks are, you know, they'll tend to have a lighter spring. I have a pretty hefty spring in my Virpil, so it's not super quick to move around, but it's also got some clutches in it. Speaking of, I need to look at doing a modification on those clutches. I think there's a grease you can add to them to smooth it out, because it's, you know, they're supposed to like kind of like dampen out the feel without actually using like a hydraulic dampener, but they just kind of stick. So I'm not sure what the problem there is, but some people have mentioned that is a common thing with the Virpils. I thought it may have been a cockpit button. Understood. Yeah, so it's an on or off, and what we might do is on our departure do a little hand flying, and if you guys remind me, Seth in particular there, if you'll remind me, we'll turn that on and off, and I'll give you my opinions on what that feels like. Alright, callouts, we'll leave that as default. Actually, is there a F50? Well, let's turn the 40 on. I like having that. Distance, feet, inches, and pounds. GSX, we're not using GSX right now, but it is nice seeing all these options. So you have fuel, catering, and boarding for service sequence, which you can change that to the opposite. Auto catering while refueling. Wait for refuel before boarding. Auto select ground handling agent. Auto pushback. Auto disconnect GPU on pushback. See, a lot of these options, there was a GSX mod that I was using specifically for the Fenix a couple times that a lot of this was included, so it's really cool to see this in the airplane itself here. So auto pushback when enabled, GPU and chocks will remove. GSX pushback will be requested with the beacon light when the beacon light is turned on. Okay, so that was similar to what that Milo did. That's pretty cool. Next week I'll be sure to have GSX reinstalled and we'll go through this again. And then cabin announcements. Like I said, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. It's kind of quiet even in my ears. Curious if we scoot back here, it gets louder. No, doesn't seem to change anything. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the sim settings. You can add a custom logo to your EFB. I added the channel's logo here. Departure, that looks pretty much the same, other than the fact that you can send it to the MCDU now, so that's pretty neat. Arrival performance, this looks a little different. I think all the options are pretty much the same though. Navigraph, I think the biggest change that you'll see here is the screen you normally see on Navigraph for the world map is the same now, so that's pretty cool. Now what would be really cool is if you had the same functionality, like I could click on a waypoint and get information from it, but still have to use the their integration for it. So of course we'll want to have the airport here. The weather was calling for runway 10, so we'll double check that since we are a little delayed right now. But that'll have us do a 180 and go to the right. Moving on. Pilot brief. This is all the same. Phoenix user guide. Was that? Oh, there's a quick reference handbook. A PDF version. Oh, it's loading. A PDF version. How long does it take to load? This is kind of an unfortunate. I need the quick reference handbook. Hang on, we got to load it, and it take 15 minutes. Oh wow, this is very detailed. Holy crap! Oh, airplane is loaded. Awesome. Okay, there is a ton of information here. Is there a way to search? There may not be a way to search, but this is actually cool. This is set up a lot like what you'd get in the real Airbus. Huh, cool. Alright. Now, without a search feature, it kind of is unfortunate, but maybe there is one, I just don't know how to use it yet. That's pretty neat. That's a nice, neat addition. Failures, this is a pretty awesome one. There's a ton of failures in here now that you can click through. And you can arm these, see the things that are failed, see what you've got armed, and then reload everything. So it's pretty impressive. We won't mess with any of this today. I just want to get through a solid flight here and see if there's anything that we'll need to worry about just getting from point A to point B. Flight mode, it looks like you can put the thing in airplane mode. Not sure exactly what that does. Brightness, some brief username, of course. And here you can reset the background if you wanted to. And reboot the EFB if it causes problems. There is, if you use the external device, you can do an MCDU, similar to a fly-by-wire. So that's a nice little feature. Okay, so I think I've talked too much as it is, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. I believe it said the airplane was loaded, so planned, boarded, planned, loaded, and yep, everything looks good. So let's go ahead and, oh, they already removed the stairs and shut the door for us. Awesome. So let's go up here. The lights on the Corey switches up here actually look a lot nicer than they used to. That's pretty cool. All right, so we want to go ahead and get off external power, and let's get the APU bleed on. With that, we can remove the GPU, the PCA, and let's go ahead and get the chocks and cones out of the way too. All right, everything looks like it's aligned. The upper display here for the engine looks very different compared to what we're used to in the IAE here. Of course, you get the engine V2527-A5. Active nav database is really out of date. Okay, so I'm guessing that you'll have to do a nav database update after you install Block 2, because I didn't do that, and my other aircraft are installed. So I'm guessing it's using the SIMS database. We won't worry about that too much tonight since we are not on VATSIM, so not a big deal there. All right, let's go to the init page. Init request. Valid flight plan uplink. Interesting. Try that again. I wonder why we're getting that for. You'd think it would pull the same re-import from SimBrief. Let's try it again. Huh, okay. It's interesting. I don't know why that's happening, so I haven't done this in a while, but we'll manually input everything. So we're looking at TNCM, Tango, November, Charlie, Mike, and we are going to Tango, Tango, Charlie, Papa.
What were you trying to do?
It wasn't pulling in the flight plan automatically. I'm not sure why. GOTOB. Go Tobago, Tobago, Tobago. Caribbean chat, I'm assuming you're excited about the fact that we're going to Tobago. Considering your username. Flight number JBU, Juliet Bravo Uniform 929. We're not flying with the virtual airline tonight because Delta does not have an IAE version. Let's go take a look at our pilot briefing to get our cost index is 1.5. And we are expecting a cruise elevation of 370. Should automatically pull in the temp, and it did. Let's go ahead and pull in our winds. West the winds.
And for some reason, I cannot see any multiplayer airplanes.
That is weird. I don't know.
I've been having trouble with it too. On my second restart, trying to get everything to show up.
I saw Ron a minute ago, and there was a bunch of traffic outside my airplane, so I'm not sure why you guys aren't seeing that. All right,
I'm actually paused.
My sim.
I don't know if you can still see me while I'm paused though.
Should be able to, but. Alright, so we're going to Zapata. To Grome. Grome.
Alright, I got visibility on all the other players again now.
Okay, cool. Agbel. I'm a little rusty. Uh-oh. What's this? New waypoint. Did I spell it wrong? Agbel. A-G... Let's try it one more time. A-G-B-E-L. I wonder if it's the, since we don't have the latest nav data, that's causing some problems. Alright, so that is not working for me for some reason. Let me look at Navigraph real quick here. Yeah, A-G-B-E-L. For some reason it's not showing up, so we're just going to skip that for now. And go on to the next waypoint, which is B-N-E-P-L. B-N-E-P-L. That one worked. And one more at Tango Golf, Papa Yankee.
You guys are not on the Sim Update 15 beta, right?
No, we are not. Well, I'm not.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Oh, yeah, if you're on the beta, then yeah, you're probably not going to see us. Duplicate names. These are the same. Interesting. Okay. Insert. And let's go to... look on the flight plan. Why is it showing me... Where's my airport? Interesting. I don't think I can do a departure when it's showing EPOS there. Huh. Wonder what the deal there is. Not sure why it's showing EPOS instead of the actual airport. Let's go to ATSU, maybe. We'll see. Flight and no. Init data request, maybe. Let's see if this will pull it in for me. Okay, that worked. So, go back to the init page. Flight plan. No, they didn't fix that. So, I wonder if I can change PPOS to TNCM. TNCM. Not allowed. Let's try this. TNCM here. Insert that temporarily, and can I do... no, okay, that's not going to work, so let's clear that out. Insert. If we look at the flight plan, and I'm guessing these issues are all because we don't have the latest database. So the departure, the Modor to departure is pretty simple. We're going to go to Modor and then Zapata, so really we're just going to have to add Modor in real quick. M-O-D-O-R. We'll add that in, insert that, and we'll just do a direct to Modor on our flight plan here. That should take care of that and clear out that discontinuity. And that'll essentially be the same as our regular departure. Altitude restrictions. We're going via Zapata. We want to cross Modor at least 4,000. we'll just climb straight to our altitude of 370. Since we are not on VATSIM here. Local altimeter is 1018, so let's change it to hectopascals, 1018. And that'll take care of that. We'll leave constraints on. I don't think we're going to have them since we didn't manually input everything. So, not too worried about it though. Alright, let's take a look at our overhead again. I'm about ready, guys. I do need to add the arrival information, and then I will be ready. View bleeds on. Nav lights on. Everything else is clear. Let's go ahead and add our arrival, which is really just a direct to ILS 11. Let's take a look at the charts here, see which one we want to use. Nav graph. Go to our destination, arrival. I'm sorry, approach. We don't have an arrival. So it's a Yankee or Zulu ILS. So that is the Yankee. That is the Zulu. And looking at how we're going to enter the airspace there. Let's use the Zulu, because we're going to be coming in from the northwest here, so I'm going to star that one. Zulu, no stars, no transitions, insert. Let's take a look at that real quick to make sure that looks fine. There's a discontinuity there. Let's clear that out. Except, there we go. This should bring us right into the airport. Yep, that's perfect. Awesome. Okay, go back to 10 miles on the arc. Okay, I think I am pretty much set up. And let's go ahead and shut our door here. And lock the door. And we don't need a tug. We got plenty of room to just do a left turn here. Got someone else in the Phoenix there. Not sure who that is off to my right. But it shows up as the jet. Yeah, you get the Brooklyn livery.
Yep.
Yeah, it actually shows up nicely. That's awesome.
Yeah, your livery isn't showing up for me though.
Yeah, I've got the one of the jet blues, but it's it's like the one that's got the body that's blue. Sentry's over there. That is Sean. That is Ron. Not sure who else is with us. So let's go ahead and get this thing started up. Parking brake is set. Go engine start. Engine 2. Let's listen to this thing. Should have picked the quieter airport. Got a really nice deep base to it. Sounds pretty cool. Alright, exhaust gas temperatures coming up. I'm not used to seeing these decibel numbers. This is throwing me off. Alright, engine 2 is available. Let's go engine 1. Go ahead and arm our flaps. Do our departure performance real quick. Sync load sheet. Sync live weather. Calculate. And let's test out the send to MCDU. Initialize weights. Oh, yep, forgot a step. I was busy trying to fix everything else. 0 fuel weight. I think we're gonna have to get that from here. 0 fuel weights 131. Let's call it 2. Oh man, you can really feel the engines starting up in the cockpit here. Is pretty cool. And CG is 29.4. Alrighty. Go back to our departure here. So let's just make sure that all of that actually did go there. So 134, 3539, 34, 3539, flaps 3. Wow. That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever had a flaps 3 takeoff. So flaps 3 down 0.2 on the flight on the trim. 0.2. Flex is 55. Flex is 55 there. And everything else should be good. That's pretty cool. It really reduces the errors here. Or, you know, you can still have the option to enter it manually if you want to. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to have our max auto brake for departure here. I haven't flown the Airbus too much lately, so if I'm a little rusty, I apologize. So I'm going to adjust this camera just a touch here. It's just a little touch, just zoom. And get the track IR on, and let's go ahead and do our flight controls. So full up, full down, full left, full right, rudder, left rudder. Ground spoilers are armed, brakes are armed. Park and brake off, and let's get our lights on. Taxi, runway lights, and seatbelts. APU bleed can come off, and master APU can go off also. Alright, let's get rolling here. Oh, these things get you rolling before you even give it any throttle. That's kind of nice. Lose those nameplates. Scoot out just a touch here. And we are going to runway 10. So let's pull up our Navigraph charts here. Go back to our starred. Zoom in a little bit. Got this guy right here coming in the 787, so we'll give him some room. Come on in, buddy. We need to keep on taxiing down that way. Busy airport, so it might take a second to get out of here. Hopefully he doesn't smack us with his wing. He obviously doesn't have the world update for this airport because he's elevated. Yeah, there's not really a taxiway in the sense that we're used to, so we're going to continue following him out right here. Let's go ahead and do our takeoff config test since that popped up. Everything's normal, and we'll check the cabin before we take off. See, I'm curious to see how this dampened feel, or this dampening feels once we get airborne here. Still feel kind of weird in this this angle. Predicted wind shear is off. Let's go ahead and get that on. TCAS standby. Company message. AP available. Okay. Nothing unusual there. You guys all good to go back there?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just pushing back right now.
Okay. Is that you, Sentry, on the or Archetype? Is that you on the runway there?
It is. I'm having some more configuration issues trying to fly this 7.4, so
Yeah.
I might have to restart. But I'll catch up.
Okay. Look at all these private jets over here. Is this players or is that part of the scenery? Must be part of the scenery. That's pretty cool. Alright. Got a King Air on the runway there, so we'll see if he gets moving. If not, we'll take off through him there. What is that? I don't know what that alarm was. I've never heard that one before. We'll give him a second here. If he doesn't start moving, we'll go ahead and take off through him. Like I said, we're not on VATSIM, so can't talk to him. Any update on what he is waiting for? Let's go ahead and pull up our departure chart. We are on the Motor 2. And like I said, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to Motor and then to Zapata. Nothing too crazy. Alright, he's not going anywhere, so we're gonna pretend he's not there. Landing lights on. Taxi to takeoff. Flight attendant's calling. Oh, okay. Well, we'll tell them to sit back down. And then go TARA. Auto. And I think we are good to go. Company message line like, okay, we're moving. Nope, got somebody coming in on the final there. We'll let him land first. We don't impede his landing, and then we'll pull him behind him. Oh, of course somebody loads in right on top of me. Nice. We'll pick a less busy airport for our next commercial flight. How about that? Alright, it's not the biggest runway, so we're going to go all the way to the end here. Make sure we use every bit of it. We pay for the whole thing. We use the whole thing. The ground handling is good. It was always pretty good in the Phoenix, so nothing too new there. Alright. Let's go about 50%. I'm not sure what the idle numbers are for this thing, but it looks good. And let's go flex. Oh, everybody just keeps loading in and around us. A little bit of forward pressure. These things sound awesome. Yeah, the rudder feels pretty good for me. There's 100 knots. Release that forward pressure gently. I think we're going to be okay on our takeoff distance here. Slight wiggle. I'll have to try that out. V1 and rotate. Gotta hold quite a bit of back pressure. And positive rate gear up. Get over these mountains before we smack into something here. That is why we have the flaps through takeoff. That is a pretty darn steep departure. That is pretty cool, though. Not sure how I feel, how close we are. That would be very scary in lower visibility situation. Alright, so Seth, I believe you were supposed to remind me of hand flying this thing a little bit. So once we get a little bit more speed here, lever to climb, levers and climb, open climb. Let's go ahead and go flaps 2. And we are going to do a direct to motor. Insert. Right turn. This thing feels really nice in the air, so that turn felt pretty good. Let's go to the options real quick. Look for some options. Let's go flaps 1, make sure we don't overspeed here. Controls and SDS off. So I don't really, it's a little twitchier maybe. Let's turn it back on. Yeah, it's definitely a lot smoother when you turn the SDS on. Wiggle around a little bit. You know, the whole idea is to be as smooth as possible. Still hand flying here, so. What's that?
I saw this person sitting in front of me. I don't know if there's if they're in flight with us.
Oh. What's their gamer tag?
Vibronic boot.
Doesn't ring a bell. Is that any of you guys in the chat there? The real test will be on the approach this thing. So the first restriction we had was at or above 4,000 at Mildor. There is our transition altitude, so let's go ahead and pull to standard. And let's play around with that SDS one more time here. So here's full left, immediately to a full right. Make everybody in the back sick. Let's level off. Turn that back on. Full left. And a full right. See, I'm not sure if you can really see visually what it feels like, but it does feel like it's a touch smoother on the joystick. So I guess really you're probably going to notice most of it when you right around the null zone. So that's me kind of dancing around in there. Yeah, so it's a bit more aggressive with it off versus you turn it back on and do the same movements a little smoother. Gonna get our left turn in here. Watch our speed since we're goofing around a little bit. And I don't know about you guys, but the fact that I can look around so smoothly in this thing now is awesome. I'm playing with pretty much maxed out graphics on a 4K monitor. So it is a dream. One of the biggest things I liked about the PMDG over the Phoenix was just how much better it performed. But now, PMDG has its work cut out for them. And so there's 10,000 feet. Go autopilot on, and let's clean up the airplane. Landing lights, runway lights, those lights. I forgot to turn our strobe on instead of auto, but it should have been kicked on. Go ahead and release the passengers. Spoolers. And we're good. Beautiful. So what do you think about the plane, Sean?
I think it's good. Not gonna lie, it's pretty smooth. I've kind of been staying away from the Phoenix, from this specific plane, because as soon as you load it into it, FPS just crumbles, and it actually make me wanna fly it now.
Yeah, that was after I got so used to flying the PMDG there. I loaded into the Phoenix one time. I was like, oh god, this thing just doesn't feel good at all. But I'm with you. It feels a lot better now. Although Steven in the chat just said he did his first flight this morning. Very stuttery. Not sure what's going on. You know, Steven, someone else mentioned that in the Discord. And I'm not sure what it is yet. I haven't figured it out. Sean has pretty much this exact same hardware as me, so not too surprised that he's having the same experience. But the guy we were working with, we had his sim running super smooth, and for some reason he's having issues, so I'm not sure yet. I'm sure something will come out from someone when they discover what the issue is.
And I'm not gonna lie, like that Sim 15 beta,
Yep.
it makes it even extra smooth. I did a flight last night. It wasn't pretty good landing because I haven't really flown the Phoenix like that, but yeah, it was really smooth on the beta.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see how my landing goes, because I haven't flown the Phoenix in a while. 2, I have not done anything but 2 touch and goes on a full stop on pattern work, but now I didn't have the SDS turned on, and it was a really light airplane.
Yeah, I landed with the SDS turned on. I mean, I have the TCA pack or whatever, and I felt like it was really like extra sensitive. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but it felt super sensitive to me.
Did you use the recommended settings that Phoenix suggested?
Yeah, I switched the settings. Taxiing feels way better now.
Yep.
And the takeoff and everything feels way better. The handling feels way better now. But, I think this landing I'm gonna try SDS off. I'm not they didn't explain exactly what it did. That's one of my problems with.
I can read you what it says on their Discord real quick. Just give me 1 second here. Steven says he's got a 13700K with 4090. Should be good. Huh. Yeah, that is interesting. I am really surprised you're having stuttering issues. Which airport did you try it at? Because I did load into Boston. It was still stuttery, but it was, you know, nothing different than what I experienced on the PMDG. So, according to Phoenix, SDS is side stick damping simulation system. So SDS includes a reactivity and damping simulation to emulate the dynamics of the real side stick and to translate those as best as possible to your home joystick. The real side stick is a heavily damped and incredibly sturdy unit. It would be impossible to recreate fully the dynamics of this using a home desktop joystick, but SDS aims to bring it slightly closer. Opinions will vary, hence this is turned off by default. If off, it has no effect, and aircraft handling will be the same as pre-update.
Because I know when I had it on last night and I was doing my landing, coming into land and everything, it felt way more responsive as to before when it felt like you're just flying like a cruise ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. I had dampening in my sensitivity controls already, so I'm curious to see how it feels, because I had SDS off yesterday when I was landing it, but it felt better on the flare. I don't feel like the nose down was as strong during flare law. Like, that always drove me nuts before. I felt like it was a very fine line of over controlling and under controlling it. ORD to PVD. What's PVD? Where's that at? I don't remember.
Providence.
Providence. Oh, okay. Rhode Island.
So maybe it's been a while.
I'm surprised. Trial loading in at St. Maarten here. That was TNCM. Tango November Charlie Mike, and see what kind of performance you get there, because it felt really good here. Like I said earlier, the Austin was a little laggy. Had some stuttering when I was looking around the cockpit, but it was nothing abnormal even for the PMDG. So I think what Phoenix has really done is brought their simulation up to par with what PMDG has in terms of performance sitting on the ground. In the air, it feels fantastic. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a frame counter up, but it's just looking around. It's probably 100 plus, easy. Let's take a look outside. We haven't seen that yet, and see what the engines sound like. Oh, well, they sound really good back in the cabin. Actually, sounds pretty accurate in the cabin. At work, we'll fool around with it tomorrow. Okay. Steven, are you in the Discord? Because I'd be curious to see if you come up with any solutions. Huh, wait a minute. Where are the exhaust effects?
Yeah, I noticed it was missing, even though now I'm a CFM version too.
I wonder how they missed that one. Sounds about the same behind the airplane. Not yet. We'll join tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'd be very curious to see what you find out, if anything, in terms of improvements. In front sounds pretty good. Nice view of the office there. It's amazing how much of a difference the sound is in the cockpit versus just going through the cabin right here. I wonder how it changes through the cabin. Let's listen.
For some reason, no exhaust kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that's missing.
I forgot to add the files.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how the engine tone sounds change as you move through the cabin. Even getting closer to the...
It does the same thing.
Does it? Oh yeah, going from the front of the engine to the back, yeah, that does change. I mean, this sounds just like what I would expect it to. That's awesome. You have that like wow 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 kind of noise going on. You can hear it. You can, if you got a nice pair of headphones, you can probably feel it like I can right now. We've got the Bose Comfort Quiets or Quiet Comforts, whatever it is. QC40, so Quiet Comfort 40s. Snag a screenshot of that. I'll send that to my family later. Be like, hey, guess where I'm going? That's what to say.
Yeah, also on the new update, like, it looks way more realistic. It's
oh, really?
Kind of weird. Yeah.
I'd be curious to see how 15 feels when it comes out. I don't like messing with the beta. I don't like the unreliability of it. Stevens...
It's pretty stable now.
Okay. Steven says he may try an uninstall, reinstall before anything else. Yeah, it might not be a bad idea. So, as far as getting in and out of the beta, Sean, I've never done it. Is it pretty quick with the amount of files you have to grab, or?
Yeah, it's pretty quick. The way that I do it is, I just like, you know, when you go on Steam and you right click, you go to managed or whatever, beta, and you can switch from between both of them.
Gotcha.
Because they just forced me into it when they first released it. So I got on, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Because it was like, it was crashing and stuff like that. I guess they fixed it.
Yeah. Oh man, that looks perfect. Even on, I got a 48-inch TV in 4K, and I can see the pixels perfectly on this screen right here. That is so cool. These textures look really good. This is probably the most well-modeled in terms of textures that we have in the sim right now. This is really impressive. I better be careful. I'll start touching my monitor here in a second and we'll end up with finger smudges. Oop, a little too far. Kind of hard in the drone camera when this thing's at cruise. It kind of, you gotta try to match your up and down motion with the airplane. And I was pretty impressed with what Fly-by-Wire did on their cockpit, but this is just a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's like super smooth, man.
Yeah.
Cockpit. Never used to be a thing.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. Overall, I don't have too much to complain about.
Yeah, I might be Team Airbus now.
We'll see how this landing goes.
Oh, my landing last night was bad. I floated so far. I feel like the plane just wanted to keep floating the whole way.
Yeah.
I flew into the same airport too.
Did you fly this flight? Oh, can I? Oh, I can. Nice.
I think I flew from. What was it? It was somewhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Engine switch still. Yeah, I just noticed that right when you commented. You're busy admiring everything and not necessarily going through a proper checklist or flow. Where'd you say it was, John? Sorry.
Let me check.
You can move the chairs, but the people don't move with it. That'd be kind of cool if they did.
From TNCA.
TNCM, okay.
Like almost 2-hour flight.
I like that I can operate the cockpit while in drone mode here. I don't know if that's a new feature or if it's always been that way.
I believe it's always been that way.
'Cause it depends on the airplane if they've got that incorporated or not. I always enjoy this view right here while we're at cruise, which we're still on climb right now, but I'll let you guys look at this for a couple minutes here. I need to run and use the restroom. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that. Well hydrated after work, apparently. So what do you guys think in the chat there? What are your all's opinions of this thing so far? These clouds look really good. I think my biggest complaint right now is going to be the default camera positions. There's just, I don't know. Like I said, it may just be that we're not used to them, but I'm on a 48-inch screen and I feel like it's kind of small looking at the instruments down here.
Camera file, or camera config file I could send you.
Well, see, I
And
found one on Flight Sim TO, and I was trying to get it to work before we loaded the flight here, but unfortunately it didn't work for some reason. Let's try it twice, but
yeah, because now they changed where the camera config files are. It's not in like the Phoenix thing anymore. It's like two separate ones.
well, I put it in the IAE specific folder, thinking that's where it was supposed to go, and that's what the instructions said. So I was a little confused as why it wouldn't work, but I didn't have time to look into it too much. Landing weight. Oh, it's so much more responsive. That's awesome. You know what? I did not pay attention to my landing weight earlier. May just have to use the flight plan to get a rough number there. Gross weight. Is that our current? That's our current, isn't it? What we can do is go take a look at our pilot brief. Look at our landing weight, so 137.5. I love how snappy this is. It's so much nicer. Oh, what did I say? 137.5?
Yep.
Oh, that was cool. It was like, as I was typing that in, it was updating the calculation. So low brake will get us what we need. Let's look what medium brake will do. Medium brake will get us at the halfway point. Max reversers. Full flaps with auto throttle on. A lot of nice, easy to use buttons here for if we had issues with any of the systems. So we're looking at, we've got a total distance of 9,000 feet. And landing distance required in feet is 5,417. And if you add the 0.15 multiplier, you get 6230. So well within limits there. The winds, at about a 9-knot headwind, or 8-knot headwind, and 3-knot crosswind. So that'll be a pretty nice landing. About 70 miles or so from our halfway point, and 200 miles or so to the top of descent. Not a super long flight, but plenty of time to let us get up in the airplane and enjoy it some. With
Yeah,
plenty
I
of
have a
good views.
question.
Sure.
How do you calculate your landing weight?
So when you are doing your initial setup, it'll show it to you. When you're in the air, if I forgot to do it today, but I think you can either do the math or so it'll say estimated fuel on board 6.8, and then you add that to your zero fuel weight. And then that'll give you a rough number, or you can use the flight plan. So 6.8 plus 131.2 gets me 138. So 138,000 pounds. I entered 137.5 on the from the flight plan, so it's actually changed it to 138.0. And we got the same number there. So nothing really, just shows it to you. Got to do a little math. It will give you a rough estimate when you're entering your in-it numbers on when you're setting the airplane up.
No problem.
But I forgot to look at it earlier too. Yeah, we were talking about how smooth this is, but I mean, normally at cruise it's pretty smooth, but there is zero stutter, none. Looking around like that.
Even on the ground when I did my flight last night, it was good, and I had full traffic injector going.
Yeah. I don't usually use a traffic injector, but at K-Boss, the biggest stutter I would see is looking from center console to the overhead, which has always been there, and it's even there on the PMDG at Boston. But like I said, I'm running a pretty hefty graphic setting right at the moment. I've got this thing almost maxed out, so it's acceptable for me. If I pan around smoothly, it's not an issue. If I pan around such as this, it doesn't really lag, but I really quickly look up and look down, it will. But
Yeah.
so far,
Maybe it's because you're streaming. I don't seem to be getting that.
oh no, right now it's buttery smooth. Right now it is.
I know that's the issue with PMDG. For some reason, like the camera sticks a little bit when you look down to the top.
Yeah. I mean, this is the smoothest it's ever felt for me. I'm very pleased. Take a look at our arrival charts here. We don't have an arrival, so we just got the approach. And we picked the Zulu ILS runway 11. And we're really just coming straight into this, straight into the no-tail, or what do we have here? CI-11. CI-11. Don't see it on this chart. But it added it. Let's step through this real quick. Oh, whoops, wrong way. CI-11 at 1700. So I'm guessing it's this, approximately this 12-mile waypoint. So it'll get us lined up nicely. Top of descent's about 155 miles or so. Optimal 360, max 384. Performance 159 miles top of descent. We can actually increase our cost index a little bit if we wanted to. This is showing 2128 on the UTC. So another 20 minutes to the top of descent. I was looking at my Volanta and I was like, why is the time different? I forgot that we'd rolled time back. So we can enjoy the views.
Hey, what time you guys on?
I think it's probably about 4:12. I got 4:08 right now. Uh oh. Someone just fly over me? Got a shadow there. I wasn't expecting. Hey, we got somebody intercepting us. Look at that. Guys, we have a problem. Who is that? Oh, it's Archetype. It's coming to intercept us. I swear it wasn't me, Archetype. Go talk to Sean.
I'm way back here.
You know, I've never actually had the random person escort me into an airport before. I've heard of it happening to people all the time. I've had people mess with me in the air, but I've never had the full-blown escort with a fighter jet.
It's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it would be kind of fun as a stream one night just to intercept airplanes on final. Let's go to Atlanta or Boston or New York or something. Start escorting people in. Could you imagine if we had like 10 of us and fighter jets flying around them?
That would be fun.
That would be pretty fun. We'll have to do that. That's actually not a bad idea.
Make a game out of it.
Yeah. I know the sim hasn't received any updates since the last time I was flying in the air, but these clouds are looking great today.
And I'm telling you, once they release that update, and with Rex AccuSeason, you're gonna be like, wow.
Wait, with
Like
Rex
the-
AccuSeason? season?
Yeah. With the
What do you mean?
season update 15. Like it looks even way better. The trees
So wait, what?
and everything.
What's the difference
Colors.
between Rex AccuSeason season now and 15?
I feel like now the trees look, to me they look kind of weird.
Okay.
And like just the colors and stuff like that. And then we have Rex AccuSeason turned on, it makes like the runways all weird looking on this version of the sim. But the next one, like the runways look perfect and the trees look more realistic.
See, I wasn't a victim of the runway discoloration that you and Diesel were having.
I believe they fixed it. I think they fixed it a little bit now, but some people still have issues with it.
Okay. Let's take a look at this quick reference handbook. Go around. Just happen to be there. For circuits, maintain slats, flaps configuration, maintain speed close to V approach due to pitch trim unstable or unusable. Wait. You can't use your pitch trim for circuit go around? For diversion, if flaps jammed at 0, ooh, flaps jammed above 0. This is pretty cool. Oh, what else is in this? I'm assuming they got their hands on an actual A320 QRH and recreated it. Oh, this has pilot flying and pilot monitoring guides. If we can get your controls to work, this would be really fun to run through. Tommy is wanting to do the your controls with the 737, which I think works pretty well. I don't know about the Phoenix though. Has anyone in the chat had any experience with your controls for a shared cockpit experience? The testing I've done is was okay, kind of buggy. This is cool. There's the PDF version of it, it mentioned. I'm gonna have to get that and see if I can get that printed out. That's a lot of pages. This would be something actually be kind of cool to go through and do videos on. What do you guys think? You think a video on the QRH procedures would be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I'll be interested in They'd have for bird strike in there too, right?
Yeah, burst strikes are simulated now. I'm not sure if that's a failure you gotta do or what.
Yeah, I think it's a failure inside that it's inside there.
Under failures. Power plant maybe. Engine surge. Oh yeah, there you go. Bird strike. Left bird strike, right bird strike. That's cool. You could truly simulate the Miracle on the Hudson now. You can arm those bird strikes at that right altitude probably.
Those one do it at 700 feet in their stream and they couldn't even recover.
Yeah, it's 700 feet's not much.
Straight down.
You're in a very vulnerable spot at 700 feet. I guess we could test one of these real quick. Let's do a overheat on pack 2. Arm failure condition. Oh wow, this is cool. Above indicated airspeed, above altitude AMSL. What's AMSL stand for? After event, after time. Go pack 2. Let's just go to failed. Fly. See what happens. Nothing happened. Back to overheat. $265 or 35. It's increasing in the temperature here. I don't know how long this will take to cause an issue. There it is. Pack 2 overheat, pack 2 to off. When pack 2 overheat out, pack 2 back to on. So we'll go up here, go pack 2, turn that off. We should see a decrease in the temperature here. I love how the ECAM messages make it so easy to troubleshoot the Airbus. Instead of on the 737, you're like, oh, what's going on? There's a light, and that's about it. I don't really know what's happening. Let me spend 15 minutes figuring out what the heck it is.
Well, no, you're on the side of a mountain.
Yeah, yeah. Before you know it, you're swimming with the fishes. All right, when pack overheat out, pack 2 on. So it's down to 185 degrees Celsius. 180. I don't know what temperature that needs to go down to. Luckily, at this altitude, shouldn't get too hot in the airplane. Although it's kind of warm in here right now. I wonder if we decrease the temperature some here, if we can cool it off a little bit. It's a little warm. 76, 75, 77. Usually it's pretty chilly once you get the cruise. Which screen do I have? I have the LG C2 48-inch. 4K HDR. Love it. It is fantastic. Took a little while to get used to having such a big monitor right in my face, but now I couldn't live without it. Especially on airplanes like the CRJ or the ATR, where the screens are really tiny. Makes it a little nicer. So we're still managing to cool the aircraft off slowly with one pack at this altitude, but the pack 2 temperature is 115 degrees. So I'm assuming once we'll let it get down to 95, which is what pack 1 is operating at, and then we'll turn pack 2 back on. And I don't know if that, we may have to clear out pack 2 overheat. So 100 degrees, let's wait for 95. But we'll get there. There it is. All right, so let's go ahead and turn that back on. And then the ECAM message goes away. And pack 2 is obviously got a problem again, so let's go ahead and see if we can reload. How do we get rid of a failure, I wonder? Let's go failed, apply changes. Beautiful. And there we can see the temperature decreasing. That's cool. That's cool. I never actually messed with the failures in the Fenix, but this interface makes it really cool to deal with. And of course, with the second pack available, we are able to decrease our cabin temperature pretty quickly. All right, we are 66 miles out, top of descent. Go ahead and get our approach information in. Sent, managed, custom X15, everything looks good there. Okay, so destination QNH. A couple ways we can do that. If you only have one monitor, you can go back to my flight, go to the weather at arrival. ATIS is offline. UMITAR. That's if you had VATSIM. So winds are 0 at 9 knots. Visibility is 10 kilometers. A few clouds at 1,600 feet. Temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. QNH of 1013. Okay. 1013. Temperature, I think it was 27 degrees. Wind was 09 or 0 at 9. And then for our barometer setting, we'll want to use barometer versus the radio. Because, assuming you got your altimeter in correctly, it'll give you a better reading without, if you fly over something that causes your radar altimeter to jump up, could be give you a false minimum. Where are we going? Charts. Minimums. Decision height is 221. 221. On a barrow. And we're going to be doing a flaps 4 landing. And that'll take care of our approach. EPR. What does that stand for? Do you know, Sean? I'm used to seeing, you know, N1.
Oh, where'd you see that? I don't think I know that.
I haven't really researched these IAE engines very much, but I just also don't know what EPR stands for. Hertz on the Gen 1. Interesting. It's pretty neat how they have these kind of changing variables throughout the system. You know, none of these things are perfect in the real world either. Plenty of hydraulics.
Engine pressure ratio.
Engine pressure ratio
is defined to be the total pressure ratio across the engine.
So what is the ratio comparing?
It says using our station numbering system, EPR is the ratio of nozzle total pressure PT8 to compressive face total pressure PT2. EPR can be easily measured on an operating engine and displayed to the pilot on a cockpit dial. It's in Google and there's a picture
Okay.
of what PT8 is in PT2.
Let's take a look at that. Talking about taking a look at things, let's take a look at the changelog here. So we can keep monitoring the flight. It's actually quite extensive. I mean, you don't normally see a changelog to this degree, but Fenix, if you go to their blog post here, they give you guidance on SDS and handling your sensitivity settings. I have these exact settings set up for me. I have the Verpal Mongoose. Is it the Mongoose 3? CM3. Rudder dampening. This can be used with linear rudder sensitivity, followed by adjusting sensitivity per your preferences. I have mine set up just like this. I do not have any of the rudder dampener turned on in the sim itself, though. Rudder tiller pedal disconnect. System's been changed to accommodate realistic pedal disconnect functionality, wherein the rudder pedals are disconnected from nose wheel steering input steering control checks. Hey Kimchi, how are you? If you do have a separate tiller access, you do not need to do anything special. Pedal disconnect will work as required. Please note we will assign correct tiller behavior once you moved your tiller for the first time that session. Oh, that's cool. That's probably why I didn't notice anything different there. So in order to use the pedal disconnect appropriately with this control scheme, please ensure your rudder is not locked out with the pull tab click spot. So mine doesn't do anything while we're in the air here. Or does it? No. Okay. I'm getting close to the top descent here, and I don't want to miss that, so get this to the side here. Brakes have been adjusted in line with realistic deflection versus brake pressure application. For those using toe brakes, it's going to feel different. So please ensure you're aware of this and get used to it. Okay, so we're going to get used to that. After that flight, can we fly from TJSJ to KJFK? What I was thinking of possibly doing is some circuits if I have time. We still got another 30 minutes flight time here, so if we do anything, it'll probably be circuits. I don't have time to fly all the way to JFK from TJSJ. I'm not sure exactly which airport that is, but that sounds like it's at least a 3-hour flight. Maybe another time though. Flare is going to feel different. Please bear in mind on your first approach, I recommend some circuits to get used to the handling. 4 hour. Oh yeah, we definitely don't have time for a 4-hour flight tonight. Gotta get up and go to work in the morning, unfortunately. Did you ever fly to Tel Aviv? I don't think I have. Don't think I have. Sean, have you been there? Or Ron, even?
I have.
You have?
No, I have not.
Is that got a custom scenery? Maybe another stream? Yep, maybe. 4-hour cruise is kind of a long one, though, for a stream. I like to keep them a little shorter, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That way, you know, we were just sitting. Now, we could do a stream that is 4 hours long and maybe do like a podcast style or something. That would be kind of fun. Try to get us some topics to discuss. You should, if you would do VFR above the sea. It's amazing view if you want. Over Tel Aviv? Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. We do a lot of VFR flying, typically on Thursday nights. This week's different because, of course, the Phoenix just came out yesterday. I really wanted to fly it. Normally we do, you know, something along the lines of a Cessna 152 on Thursday nights. Or any other sort of smaller GA. TJSJ to KMCO is 2.5 hours. Okay, now that is more reasonable. Probably make that happen. Your FPS is so high. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, it feels really good right now with the Phoenix update. It's easily over 100 sitting here at cruise. We'll see what it gets to once we get close to the airport here. Coming up on top of the Sint here. I believe the chart had us at 1,700 feet for our altitude there. So let's go ahead and dial that in because we're going to be going straight in without any sort of air traffic control to intervene in. How did you get the Phoenix? How much was it? Is that what you're asking? I think right now, US dollars, it's around $60. Maybe a little over. It just depends on what the British pound is right now. I think it's 50 pounds normally. But I bought it. How long has this thing been out? A year and a half, 2 years? So I bought it when it first came out, and it was right around that $50-$60 range. Where did I get it? From their website. I believe that's the only place you can get it. Yeah, top of descent. 2 miles. Let's go ahead and start our descent here. As we start descending here, let's take a look at some more of that changelog. You have an account. Yes. Yeah. You have to have an account for that. So there is a ton of changes. We're probably not going to read through every single one of these, but we'll take a look at some of the highlights here. We were talking about the flare. We'll see how different that is. The circuits I have done, and it definitely felt better than it used to. So I was pretty pleased with that. I've only done 2 touch and goes and a full stop, all circuits, with just a quick ILS setup. So I'll be curious to see what this thing feels like with a fully loaded airplane. That the airplane was empty. So Not sure how that's going to work out. One thing that did affect a lot of people is all the liveries from Block 1 do not work with Block 2 now, so you have to wait for new liveries to come out. They simply won't work if you have them in your community folder. I don't know if this will fix anybody's problems, but Phoenix does recommend a PC restart after installing Block 2. And I did opt in for the automatic crash reporting function just to help them out. They've done a lot of good work here. And if they keep improving this thing even more, which at this point I'm not sure what they could do to make it even better, I'm all for helping them. Next time, we will have GSX reinstalled to do the integration. So we'll have to look at the full guide at this. Oh, actually, you know what? It'd be pretty simple to get here. Oh, look at this. That's nice of them to add all this in there. Okay, so I'll have to review this and be ready for the next flight. No, I'm buying a new PC soon so I can finally run P3D good. Awesome. What are you planning on getting? I'm not sure what the recommended processor for P3D is, but I know that AMD is kind of edging out Intel right now for MSFS. Mainly because it's, what is it, the L2 cache, I think, Sean?
I think it's the L3.
L3, okay.
I was
So-
thinking about going back to AMD.
I have never owned an AMD product. Well, let me take that back. I've owned work hardware. That was AMD. I've never bought AMD. What were you about to say?
So I was looking at the 1400K. Okay, yes. Seems like it's way cooler than 13900K.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint. I don't have my hardware info running right now, but normally it's, you know, even cruise here would be in the 60s.
Yeah, I had to go ahead and undervolt my CPU.
Oh, okay. I know you were having temperature issues with it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know, but it's a good PC. My mom is buying me. I've had this PC for almost 4 years, and it can't run FSX. Really? That's surprising. Well, hopefully you can run MSFS or P3D once you get the new computer. Because the visuals in MSFS is outstanding, which I'm sure you know that. And at the rate we're going, I think 2024 should offer us up a very solid sim after another year or two. 2020 is in a great spot right now, in my opinion. I think everyone's arguments of it's not a real simulator, it's a game, is kind of going out the window.
Right.
People who say that are just they're trying to protect their ego because either they A, can't run MSFS, 2, or B, refuse to for whatever reason, or C, can't get away from spending the thought of all the money they spent on another simulator and transferring to another one, a new one. So
I feel like most people that say that is, you know, they don't have a 4090 and all that stuff to run out ultra settings to really see.
yeah. Thanks, by the way. Yes, of course. Thanks, by the way. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I will say having a 4090 does make a huge difference. But I also realize that most people aren't going to have a 4090 or equivalent in their computer. Now, I have had a gaming computer for my entire life, and this is the first time that I've been able to afford top of the line equipment. So
And back then we just put the lowest settings, everything, and
yeah.
get the FPS.
Well, Sean knows this, but fun fact for everyone watching, I actually have a pretty lucrative career in first-person shooters. I've spent a lot of time in those in the past, but Sean is correct. I was always looking for the crappiest graphics that would give me the best performance and let me see the guy hiding in a bush. PUBG, for example. So, and I would purposely make games look like crap so that I had a competitive advantage.
No grass, no leaves on the trees, and people were like,
Man, I'm
"How's
not
this
getting
guy?"
not getting snaked in the grass. I can't stand it.
I still do the same thing too, because I play Fortnite here and there, and same thing. They have like this huge update where they have grass and the trees are swaying and all that stuff. I'm like, man, I'll turn off all that stuff.
No, get out of here with these beautiful trees and leaves. Just give me a stick. That's all I need. You know what? If I could see through the stick, even better.
And ray tracing and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't need none of that.
The only ray tracing I want to see is my aimbot. I mean, my guide to where the other players are. Kimchi says, my friends are funny. Thanks, Kimchi. I surround myself with the best. Alright, plenty of fuel. Turn left to get onto the, what was that, CI-32 or whatever it was. CI-11.
You know, one thing too that I noticed with this new update, the terrain on ND, I used to turn that on. I used to like literally slaughter your FPS, and I can have it on both NDs if you want to.
I mean, everything's improved. I know that they did a complete refurbishment of the LCD modeling. Which is why anybody watching, we can change the time of day so we can see the lights inside the cockpit here when we get on the ground. But the backlighting you'll get from these LCD monitors will have that really like washed out
Yeah, it looks really
look to
good.
it. It looks really good. Which that is not something I want to see in my monitor that I'm playing the sim on, but it is cool to see that effect in the airplane because it's an LCD screen. It's going to have that.
Have you ever seen Stig Aviation?
Steak Aviation?
Watch any Stig? He's like an airplane mechanic.
Oh, Stig. Yeah, Stig.
Yeah.
Place the steak aviation. Maybe I'm just hungry. Right here, this is our ribeye lever.
Yeah, I watch a lot of his videos, so like the way that it looks inside, like you can just. You were talking about the LCD stuff, so it looks exactly the same.
And here, we'll jump back into the drone camera real quick. I was saying earlier that if you get close enough to these screens right here, you can see the pixels. Kind of hard to keep the drone stable. There you go. It's really neat. I mean, you can see the little specks of dust, and it's incredible how good this looks. The smudges from me poking my monitor over here thinking this is real. It's pretty awesome. Check out the in-between layers here. Oh, it's funny how different things look from behind. And how they render when you're looking up at them. Man, this thing is quiet when it's at idle. What's it sound like back here? Just look at that droning. I love that sound. That is the quickest way for me to fall asleep on an airplane. Just hear that nice drone. It's that brown noise. Puts me to sleep. I think the Phoenix might have the best sounds in the sim right now. Best sounds, the best textures, that's for sure. Any builds, the A300, the sounds are pretty good in it, but I think I just feel like they're too loud in some instances. And their textures, there's something about any build style that it just feels different than others. Something to do with their coloration and their texturing. So the A350 is one airplane that I'm really looking forward to. So I'll be curious to see how it looks and feels in comparison to the 300 and 310 that they've put out there for us.
I saw like one video on the A380. I haven't heard anything about it since.
From Fly-by-Wire? Yeah, they occasionally push things out. I'll be really interested in flying that when that comes out. They keep teasing it a little bit more and more here lately, so I'm curious to see if when we get it, if it's, you know, within a few months from now, it'd be kind of nice. What do you guys think in the chat there? You guys got any guesstimates as to when we'll get the a couple things? The A380 from Fly-by-Wire, the PMDG 777, and the Airbus A350 from Any Builds. What do you guys think? Any Builds I could see sometime around the summer. 777, probably another couple months. Fly-by-Wire, who knows? They've been talking about that for 4 years, so. Although it's starting to look more and more like an actual functioning aircraft, so.
I'll say the 777 probably another year.
You think so? Even after they were saying, you know, they were claiming weeks before, and of course that was months ago. So I don't know, you might be on something.
They had like the whole hype train going on there, and you know, like people get super hyped about those releases.
Well,
and then just kind of died down, and now it's the A380. They probably pushed out.
PMDG is good about anything. It's raising a bunch of hype and then let's get annoyed and causing an uproar.
I believe the A350 might release before. It's between the A350 and the A380.
350 is probably their most immediate concern in terms of competition for the 777, if I were to guess. I know that Any Builds, they posted a picture of some of their guys at an Airbus training facility, and they got a bunch of hours in the sim. Like, how cool would that? Can I just go in there and just like sit and push some buttons? Like, I mean, what's it take for me to get to do that?
Gotta know somebody.
Yeah, right.
And then it's easy.
Yeah, yeah. Anything's easy when you know somebody. There's a, I know there's a place over in Ohio that you can do the 737 MAX, and it's a full-blown sim. It's not motion, but considering making that trip, that would be kind of fun, especially if somebody wanted to join me. You do 2 hours for $300 or $400 or something like that. Go ahead and turn our LS landing systems on. Confirm our ILS 109.3, 109.3. Looks good there. And confirm it down here, 109.3. We are starting to get pretty close to the approach here. I did a full motion at JetBlue. What? Jealous. You need to take me there. I would love to do a full motion A320. I assume it was a 320. There's JetBlue. They fly they're all Airbus now, aren't they? 320 and 220s. I think they used to have some Boeings. I'm not sure. Kyle, you've flown JetBlue a lot more than I have, since I've never flown them at all. Yeah, shot on approach to minimums. 175s are on the way out. Oh, that's awesome. They have the weather set up for you so that it was, you know, you're busting out at the bottom minimums there and immediately hitting the runway. All right, 9,000 feet. Local altimeter. Let's go ahead and double check that. All right, Navgraph tells me 1014. Phoenix app. Refresh. 1014. Weird. Got to transition out to 5,000 feet here, so we'll wait for a moment longer here. Let's take a look at the airport here real quick. TTCP ground charts. See where we're going to park at. So we're landing on the runway 11. So we're gonna have to do a back course. How far are you behind me, Sean or Ron?
I am pretty far behind you, I think. Let me check. Hold on.
Okay, because we're going to have to backtrack, get to the terminal. Forgot I had to be on my phone to chat. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I saw you sending me some Facebook messages there, but I haven't had a chance to look at them. Alrighty.
I'm still 27 minutes out.
Oh, okay. There's Sean. Sean's not too terribly far behind me, but we'll have time to get turned around before he gets on the ground. And then Archetype, you're well ahead of us there.
Yeah,
You're probably not
I'm
falling.
No factor.
Yeah. You're talking smack on your cell phone. Oh, yeah. I was wondering why I was blowing up. Alright. There is our decel point. Let's go ahead and get out of standard here. Go down to 1014. And we're going to want to... We hit the decel point and start speeding up. Let's pull a little bit of air brake here. And take control. We want to be at 250. That's probably where we weren't able to import our flight plan there. That's hurting us. There's a flight attendants again. Go ahead and get, I guess we need to put our seatbelts on. Trying to get this girl slowed down. There she goes. Flaps 1's 230, so let's go ahead and set 230. Should just make it 220. Yeah, let's get stationary or stationed here. Get the track IR back on. Right, should be able to do flaps 1 momentarily. There we go. Slowing down, it's going down to 180. And let's go into approach mode. Still got our speed brakes out. This thing, we didn't have the speed restrictions programmed in since we didn't manually enter them. No-tail is our final approach fix. We can go flaps 2. Oh, no, we can't. It's 200. Flaps 2. And we were using medium brakes. Still got our speed brakes out. Should be able to get the gear down here momentarily and be able to pull those speed brakes back in. Yeah, gear down. Let's keep slowing down. Get our lights. Let's bring that speed brake back in. Flaps 3. Arm speed brake. And flaps 4. 1,000 feet. Let it stabilize. I'll go ahead and disengage autopilot. Alright. Really curious to see how this thing feels now. Bit windy. Coming up on minimums. Continue.
Minimum.
Continue. A little off to the right. Let's see if we can correct.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Still a little floaty.
10, 5.
Get those reversers in real quick. And 60 miles per hour. Reversers back out. You can get the scenery for TTCP on Sim Plaza. How much is it? And is it worth getting? I'm gonna clean the airplane up and we're gonna do a quick 180 and get off the taxiway here. Car hit the McDonald's. I had to go for a mobile curbside order at lunch. Oh, that sucks. They go through the window? Oh, it's free. Oh, okay. Even better. Landed a little long, but it was 162 feet per minute. Not too bad, not too bad. It's nice. Okay, I'll have to go grab that after we're down here. Alright, so still felt a bit floaty. I floated a little long, which it may just be, you know, may be correct. I'm sorry I had to take care of a sick dog for a bit. Wasn't here to remind you about the damper. No problem, Seth. We actually experimented with it some. So if you take a look at the departure, you can see where we were playing around with that. It does help a bit. It's not as drastic as some people made it sound, but it does feel pretty good. We can get our APU on. Trying to exit the runway here. Sean is probably coming in pretty quick.
I have to go around them too high.
Okay, no problem. This thing likes to taxi fast. Sean, I'll be off the runway here momentarily. Now, I do have the scenery that they did with the world update, Mark. You can see here. Oh, that's not the parking spot. It's right here. I will say this thing, it handles like it's actually got a little bit of mass to it. I feel like the PMDG, as a comparison, is very light. It's like it's almost on rails. I do like the new brakes, though. They feel really good. And... stop. Perfect. Okay, set parking brake. APU's available, so we can go ahead and shut our engines off. And welcome to Tobago. Or Tobago. How do you say it? Tobago?
Tobago.
Tobago. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, brain fart. I must have been wearing a toboggan too tight recently in the winter. All right. And release those passengers, get our lights off. Cast to standby. Reset our systems. And let's go ahead and deboard. I'm curious if it'll automatically throw a stair out there for us or not. It doesn't appear to. Oh, Sean. Watch this landing. Should be a cool picture with the sun. Getting an escort in, Sean. Oh, it's doing the same thing that the PMDG does. It shows the ground equipment whenever I have ground equipment out. So you're landing with an APU. Nice. Good landing. Keeping that nose up like a pro. Look at that. Right on the center line. Alright, Sentry and Ron, what do you guys got?
I'm lining up for another attempt.
Alrighty, there's Ron. I heard Sentry, or
Yeah.
Archetype going by there. He's having a little fun in the F-18. Sean is having to do a 180 down there, Ron, but you should be okay.
He's got plenty of time.
Okay. Okay, so they did open the door. They just didn't bring me a ladder. So if we go back into the cockpit here, we can deploy a ladder. Go ahead and get some ground air. Board stairs. Stairs. And not sure if the bleed supplement the PCA or what, but with the door wide open, wouldn't hurt to have it running. If we take a look at the condition, it's crazy how fast the airplane heats up, even with the sun setting like that. The car did no penetrations. Both ends were totaled. Both ends were totaled, and it was raining against the building near drive-through pickup. They owe me $824. I had to default to Taco Bell. What'd they do? Hit the building and spin around? Ooh, went really quick. Look at that. Oh, it's pretty. It's really good, actually. Screenshot of that. Whoa! Super fast. Let me slow that thing down. All right, now it's crawling. Here we go.
Did you see the cart attached to my airplane?
Yes.
What the hell?
It was, so we got, we don't need the right door. I think it was because I had ground power equipment. So whatever I was showing, it was showing on your plane. It does the same thing on the PMDG. Four stairs, half stairs. What does this appear for? There we go. Should be able to go in one side and out the other. Yeah. Alright, looks like Archetype is bringing Ron in. Look at those colors, those are nice. Once these two get on the ground, we'll, well, it may even be dark enough that we can take a look at the new lighting inside the cockpit. Oh, there's Sean driving around with his ground power unit in tow. Does it show the stairs too? No. Oh, you got chocks. That's funny.
So weird, man. Let me see something real quick. Because I remember taking those off. So.
No, I
Yeah,
think it's because I had them deployed. I think it's part of the model, and it just matches everyone else's model. Which will look good when you're sitting here next to me, having ground power unit and chocks and whatnot. But while you're taxiing and landing, it looks kind of goofy. All right, Ron's coming in now. Oh, someone's coming in behind you there, Ron. You got plenty of time. Everyone's lining up behind you.
I'm next. I'm just a low approach. I'm gonna go around.
Oh yeah, there's someone else there too. Ron, not to be that guy, but is your landing gear down? Oh.
This time, yep.
This time. Still not showing it to me. There it is. There goes our escort. Kicking in those afterburners. And doing a nice little air show for us. Hello.
Nice.
This guy is gonna land. Is he gonna be able to land? Oh, he is on the ground. Okay. It's just he doesn't have the scenery, I guess. I was like, what? So this scenery actually is pretty nice. Coming from the world update. I see, Sean, now with you on the ground there, it actually turns out to be a nice picture with your ground power unit and everything attached.
Yeah, I want to see if I attach stairs, if you can see the stairs.
No, oh. Well, I've already got stairs out, so.
That's a GSX thing, I'm guessing.
Well, I don't have GSX installed right now.
Okay.
Alright, Archetype, where you at? Oh, you paused?
Yeah, I'm paused for a sec, doing an input adjustment.
Okay.
Count me out for the photo.
Okay.
I'm in the wrong airplane tonight.
No problem. Not sure who really pro is, or really pyro, but if you're following along, let me know in the chat there, and we'll get you in the picture. This powerhouse right here, there's probably a big generator sitting in there.
Yeah, it's showing you as Air Arabia. That's too funny.
Come on, camera, slow down for me. There he goes. Scoot up just a touch there, Ron, if you could.
Okay.
There we go.
Far enough?
Perfect. Oop.
I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't been having trouble with my throttles the past few flights.
Yeah.
I turned off a bunch of assists in
Okay.
the control options, and I'm wondering if that's what was doing it, because it hasn't happened since.
Fixed it. Ooh, look at that. So when I turned up the dome lights, it actually made a big difference. Or it looks very different than what it used to. Get the drone camera in the airplane here. There's like a reflection. It almost gives it like this gold hue to the switches. That is really cool. That I don't believe was there before. And that looks really cool. And these new colors all look great. Changes with how you position it. So now if we go ahead and make it a little darker out. So take a look at the overhead again. That looks really good. It's a lot easier to see the switches now. That was one of the things that used to drive me crazy with this thing, is you go up here and try to hit that those landing lights. You couldn't see the dang switch. Now you really can. That is awesome. So if we go ahead and turn on the floodlights, bump up the integral lights, and here's that washed out look I was telling you guys about. So if you notice that you kind of got this backlighting effect going on with the LCD screens. So if you turn that down, it actually goes away and looks really good. Then if we take a look at this right here, these textures really come through with the lighting. It just looks great. They've done a fantastic job with this update. I am extremely pleased, and it was a free update. Now some might argue that this is what it should have been all along, but can't complain.
They did a really good job.
Yes, I'm very pleased with everything they've done on this thing. Nice cool cockpit picture here. With the pilots sitting there. Oh, you know what I should do is turn these screens down just a touch. Take that again. Alright, I'll be right back. Hi guys, I appreciate that. I unfortunately don't have too much time left for the night to get things done around the house that life demands, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here instead of doing those circuits. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Checking out the Fenix here has been a lot of fun, and it's definitely regained the #1 spot on my favorite airplanes to fly in terms of how detailed and realistic the airplane is. We'll get that landing mastered after a few more trips on the A320. It's definitely improved over what it was, and we'll continue on down that path of exploring the other options in the airplane too. So, with that, guys, we'll be back on Sunday again. Since we did do the commercial flight tonight, we might be doing the GA flight on Sunday, or if by popular demand, if you guys can comment below, let me know if you want to see more of the Phoenix, and we can do that again on Sunday also, and then hold our GA flight off until next Thursday. But I'll buy her a coffee, Yama, and have a little chat with our co-pilot here. So, catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining, and happy flying.